Hey, how are you today? It is Dave Live at 5. We're going to talk about time blocking today. Time blocking, time management. It's really interesting when people talk about time management. So I manage my time really well, or time management this, time management that. Understand one thing, guys. Time management, it's garbage. It's just not possible. How can you manage time? Time keeps moving. We have no control over time. What you have control over is what you do with the time that you have to use during the day. What do I mean by that? Well, you can set things up that you're not going to take distractions, or maybe you will take distractions. You see, your organization of your time, or the blocks that you set up, and the time limits, which is another idea for time blocking, is a manner in which for you to approach your business so that you organize it in a great way. So someone would say, and I've always thought about this and talked to people about this, is that you should never allow, like if you're prospecting, never allow a distraction, never allow a phone call. Well, let me ask you this question. If you're prospecting for sellers and a seller is calling you during that few hours you're supposed to be doing prospecting, do you pick it up? Well, that's kind of intuitive, kind of contradicting what you're trying to do. So, excuse me, if you are looking for certain things, if you're doing your business properly, the distractions will be okay. I'm saying don't take distractions, don't be allowed to be distracted during times for one thing, for another. If it's a distraction for business, okay, that's why we build certain things into our blocks. We build what's called a flex piece into our blocks so that we can make up the time if need be. But if that time is being used with the purpose that you're prospecting for, or the purpose that you're doing, the distraction's okay. So let's get into the presentation for today, and we'll move forward with it, and just go through it. It's a short one today. We expect to not take a lot of time with it, but it's all about time blocking, right? It's all about what you're doing and how you're doing it, what time are you spending, and how are you separating and organizing your day. Well, let's talk about the blocks. Let's talk about the things you've got to set up for the day, right? So I want to first talk about your time. I want to talk about how you separate your time, right? So your business is all about mindset as well. So you need the proper mindset to be disciplined in order to be able to do this work. It's like my argument with agents over the years of owning the brokerage and everything else has been, well, if the lawyer calls about a deal I'm working on, I've got to pick up the phone. And I say, unless you're in the middle of finalizing a negotiation, no, you don't. Look, you have to understand something. People might call that an emergency. There's no such thing as an emergency in real estate. Look, I understand in different markets that we're in, there's going to be times when you're going to need to take a distraction. And that's what I was talking about a minute ago. The distraction not only is for your prospecting or whatever you're doing during that time where you can allow those distractions, the distraction to allow is not for something that is not for that time period, right? A lot of times you might get a phone call from an attorney or from a title company or whatever. Honestly, if time is not of the essence, and I don't mean that in a contractual form, there's no need to be distracted. There's no need to pick up that call. Actually, you should set it up so only certain people can call you during that time, and you can set that up on your phone. So let's understand that the whole idea behind time blocking is a discipline. It's a mindset. I talk a lot about ritual when you start your day. That's actually kind of time blocking as well, because you're starting your day a certain way and you're going to do certain things before you do other things. For me, it's some things that I read. When I get up, I have that time by myself. I'll sit outside, I'll read, then I work out. So these things are all set up in a timely manner. Now, my blocks for my daily work do not start until 8 a.m., sometimes 7. Several days during the week, if I know what my schedule is going to be, I actually start them earlier. But I know what it's going to look like. So that's how I start my day. My block is up to that time. So aside from your ritual in your morning, you've got prospecting, research, appointments, education, content creation, content calendar execution, email, social media, follow-up, and then there's this thing called flex that I talked about before. Now, look, granted, these 8 things right here are not the begin all and end all of everything. There's other things you may be doing. You might be mentoring. You might be teaching classes. You might be coaching. You might have administrative duties to do. So that all gets put in there, right? Here's the most important thing I'm going to tell you about time blocks. The best thing is to not have an administrative thing to do. The best thing is to have someone else do it. If you're a new agent, get someone to do your BS work. That's right, you're a new agent. If you're going to spend your full time working this business, then work it right, damn it. Work it right. Work it right so that you're prospecting, you're going on appointments, you're looking at houses, you're looking at properties, you're out there doing different things in the business. You're not worried about doing a freaking piece of paperwork or building a postcard or sending out a newsletter. Have somebody else do that stuff for you. You can set it up. That's what content creation is for. That is more or less for video creation and creation that you want to put your signature on for social media. The flex, I'm going to tell you right now, the flex box is for when you do get distracted, when you allow the distractions that have nothing to do with that time block. Or you take that and usually in every day, there should be at least a 30-minute block like that. And guess what? If you didn't allow the distraction and you don't need to make anything up, that's your free time, baby. But one thing I want you to understand is you need to schedule a regular basis of time. What is your work schedule? Is it 8 to 6? I don't care if it's 9 to 3. Whatever it is, you're going to work those hours. You're going to work in your business. I talked about mindset. I also talk about time blocks, but understand that this is determined. Time set is determined by putting first things first. What can you get done on the fly, right? So people say, well, that sentence does not make sense. Completely determined by putting first things first and what you can get done on the fly. Well, here's the thing you got to understand. Knowing how to do a contract, like I said, if you're a new agent or if there's paperwork, different paperwork you don't know about, you don't have to learn it now. All right, so if you need to learn it for continuing education, learn it. But you're not going to remember it. New agents, if you're not going to do an offer in your first couple of days, there's no sense in looking at an offer, a contract, a blank form. There's no sense in doing that, right? I would hope that that would be the case, that you'd need to do that. But that's something you can learn on the fly. For example, get the business, then learn how to do the forms. Someone will help you, or you can go online and learn how to do it. It's plain and simple, right? Put first things first. Getting business, building networks, building rapport. Remember, you've got to contact people before you can have a contract. And when you contact people, you need to build rapport and a relationship to the contract. And if you look at those two words together, contact and contract, the only thing that's different about those two words is the R. And that stands for rapport or relationship. Understand that. When you take time blocking with the right mindset, that equals time set, right? The new word, time set. It's discipline. I can put all the words I want on these pages and on these slides, but the feeling of being disciplined is the mindset you need. Nothing's going to get you away from what you are doing. Now, again, distractions that are based on what you are doing will be fine because that's what you're doing. And if you're getting those distractions, it's going to help you. Like I said, if a buyer or seller calls you during price prospecting that you need not to set up appointments, not for appointment setting, that you need to have a conversation with, to make sure that they're on your side and you've got an agreement with them, by all means, do that. It's not for appointment setting when you're doing prospecting. Appointment setting, prospecting. Research, prospecting. They're not the same. Here, the thought of time set is simple. Within yourself is a power to achieve with the discipline to do it, right? When you go with the discipline to do it, to do the work, you're setting yourself up to achieve. You're setting yourself up to accomplish. The idea of time set will get you to the accomplishment, right? It's all about mindset. It's all about a real job. Look, people get in this business of real estate for two reasons. One, to make as much money as they want, and two, to work their own schedule, to make up their own hours. What that means to me is that 80% of the people in this business don't really want to work or make any money. That's proven. It's the 80-20 rule. I get it. And you've heard it all before. Maybe it's not 80-20 that way. Maybe it's 60-40. But if you're going to make a living at this and not live paycheck to paycheck, that's right. It's not a real job, but a lot of you are working paycheck to paycheck, which means you do a deal, you work, put everything into that freaking deal, and then it closes, you're happy, and then you got nothing. Then you got to work and worry. If you continue to do what I'm talking about with these time blocks daily, no matter what, you will be able to do business at will because you said so, because you decided to do that. Remember the word decide. I use this example all of the time, and I'm going to use it here. It's about discipline. So when you decide, give you an example. You go to a restaurant. On the menu is a bone-in ribeye, chicken parmesan, and fried galamont. All right? You decide you want that chicken parm. You're going to have that chicken parm because they're supposed to have the best chicken parm around. Okay, great. Guess what? You've decided against the other things, so the thought of that bone and ribeye, the thought of that fried calamari is gone. You've killed that thought. So anytime the waiter goes by, maybe you're getting a salad first. You know that's coming, so you're waiting for that, right? Because you're anticipating. You've already determined and disciplined yourself that you're waiting for that chicken parmesan. And guess what? You see the waiter coming out. You see it. You just see on the tray. That's it. You get excited. You've decided against everything else. Here, the thought is simple with deciding and discipline. When you're within yourself is that power to be disciplined to achieve. This is where time set will help you. Time blocking. How? What does it look like? Let's take a look at what it can look like. So understand that the concept is simple. How to set it up is simple. The discipline to keep to it is not. Or, well, it is too. So this is a typical full-time agent schedule, a time block. Is it typical? I think it should be, but it probably isn't. This starts at 6 a.m. Yep. Exercise, mind and body. That's every day, right? Then you finish it. Then it's some me time, 15 minutes of me time. Then you're going to do script practice. That's a half hour. Then you're going to allow yourself, and you can flip-flop these two. This is not set in stone, but this is what makes sense to me. You can start the day and put script practice right before prospecting or check emails and social media somewhere else. But you should be checking emails and social media several times a day. You do not do it during your prospecting, as you can see, right? Notice the pink is me time, and there's some in there. Saturday, I've got, a few hours for that, right? Sunday, you're working, right? So here's the second half of the day for the week. You're going to do some research. There's research in there, right? There's research in there, and you can do all your research. Your research actually should be at that 5 o'clock hour where you're getting ready for the calls for the next day, right? And you notice on Sunday, it's a to-do list for the week. Actually, it's not a to-do list. It's a do list. List you're going to get done. Notice the flex blocks that are in there, right? It's an hour. on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. You get that time. This is for a full-time agent. This is what it could look like. Notice on Mondays, you've got previews. You've got appointments in the afternoon and appointments at night. The appointments on Tuesday in the afternoon, if you don't have anything there, you're going to go preview homes. Anytime you have time open in the afternoon, you should always be previewing homes. Unless you've been around a while and you know the houses, you've seen them all, you understand the market. The knowledge that you have to build is very important. So I want you to take that preview and put that across the board in your personal schedule. We've got content creation, content production, marketing prep and execution, follow-up. All the white is follow-up in the first few days. And on Saturday, you're open. These could all be for appointments in here, right? All be appointments or nothing or family or hanging out. Okay, I'll let you do that, right? It's big of me, right? Content production, marketing prep and execution, checking emails and social media. Now, for new agents and part-time agents, this can be a difficult thing. So what we do is the purple is your regular job, right? So we've got that scheduled 8 to 5, so to speak. But notice we start in the day the same way. We're starting the day the same way. In the white section after 7 a.m. should be script practice, right? You can start the day the same way. And here's what the afternoon and evening look like. For the part-time agent, this is a difficult schedule. Why? Because it does require so much discipline. If you're making the decision to be a part-time agent, to actually do this as a real business and to hopefully transition to full-time and quit that 9-to-5er, this is what your schedule really needs to look like. And honestly, if you've got other things going on, this is what it should look like too. If you're a full-time employee of someone, if you have a full-time job and you're doing a full-time real estate business, well, you're going to work all these things in no matter what. You're absolutely going to work all these things in. This is what I specialize in to help agents with. Specialize in setting up their times and getting things done. Now, this can be daunting the way it looks, absolutely. But this is not set in stone. I'm going to tell you that a minimum of 2 hours prospecting 5 days a week is absolutely, positively required if you want to be that top agent, if you want to work for a lifestyle instead of a living. Look, people work for a living and then they get a lifestyle along with it, whatever they get. But why don't we just cut out the middle and work for that lifestyle that we want? It's a matter of choice. It's a matter of decision. It's like we chose that chicken parm before and we decided against everything else. There's the difference right there. So what do you need in order to make this happen? Not difficult. You need systems. You need follow-up systems, processes. You need a process for sales, for your buyers and sellers. These are your methods to conversion. These are your processes to how a buyer gets handled and how a seller gets handled. When I say handled, I mean from start to finish, from lead to close to after close to database management. Now, nobody wants to be a database manager. We didn't get into this business to manage databases. That's not what we know. That's not what we want to do. That's where your admin comes in. Put that all on your assistant, your admin. No one said your assistant had to work 40 hours a week. No one said you had to pay them $15, $20, $30 an hour. No one said you need to have them on salary. There's a lot of ways to get this done. Sometimes you can get it done for free. Sometimes you can get it done cheaply or more expensive, your call. But in the beginning, you only need a few hours a week from this person if you're starting your business. But this is important for you to be able to execute this time block system and to make the most of your day, to make the most of your time. So you have to understand that when your client or your customer becomes aware, you need to contact them. That's another session. Awareness to contact, to connection. Once you get that contact and that connection, it's to an appointment. And that appointment's going to lead to a contract, to a closing, to income for you. And then this entire cycle will rework it as you manage the relationship. That's one thing you're going to do, is you're going to manage the relationship. You may have someone making calls for you, sending out postcards, sending out letters, etc., to your database, but you're going to make the relationship work. You need the process, and let's break it down. When you get a lead, what do? Phone, text, email, video, email, voicemail. What's the order? What's the frequency? This is just an example of a process. It works for sellers and it works for buyers. As far as sellers are concerned, that's your prospecting. Hopefully you're prospecting for sellers, calling for sale by owners, expired listings, withdrawn listings, circle prospecting, farming. Yep, farming. Okay. Depending on the market, there could be very difficult times to do it, and it takes a full commitment. Everything I've talked about takes a full commitment on your part. So if you don't do this, and I'm sure you don't already, you must. You really must do this. This is imperative for you to build the right business, for you to have a lifestyle, for you to be able to, I don't know, maybe you want to take Saturdays off or you want to take Thursdays off. Block it, schedule it, do it. Saturdays could look like maybe you play golf in the morning, hang out somewhere in the afternoon, depending on the weather where you're at. Look, if you're disciplined with your time blocking, that's not hard to do. Your processes are for your, as I said, your sphere of influence, your buyers, your sellers, open houses, social media, and video. The video you do, right? These are processes you need to set up. A process for your sphere of influence, the buyers, the sellers, open houses, social media, video, and you. This is prospecting as well, by the way. Contacting your sphere of influence a minimum of 30 times a year, one way or the other. I've gone through this stuff on time blocking, and it's all about discipline. Having the processes set up, we'll do all those. We'll set all those processes up. We'll talk about how to work with buyers, how to work with sellers. We're going to set all that up. If you have a question, would like to have a conversation with me, talktodave.work. That is the best place to go to set up a time. Go to my calendar. That is my calendar. Set up a time to talk with me, talktodave.work, and we'll have an opportunity to have a blunt and straight conversation about what you need help with. This has nothing to do with selling my coaching. This has to do with helping you. I'm not here with this Live at 5 to sell you anything. I don't want to sell you anything. I want to help your business. I just want to help people. I want to work with agents that want to work. Do you want to work? Let's talk about it. Talktodave.work. We'll stop the share. Here we are. We got a couple of comments here. So let's go through this. My biggest hurdle has always been time blocking. I'm able to get by with putting in 2 to 3 hours a day, but I also have a full-time 9-to-5 job. I do see what you're saying with regards to discipline. Well, understand that I did put in the part-time time blocking calendar. If you would like a copy of that spreadsheet, it's an Excel spreadsheet that I just took screenshots of to put in a presentation. Matter of fact, let me just go back to that real quick, right? Let's go back to that real quick, and I'll show it to you. Here it is. This is the day, right? So you have an issue with that. Here it is, right? Part-time agent in the morning. Start the day. Get excited about what's going on. That's what speak the good means. That's talking to your affirmations, right? Because you can write them down as I used to. I have more effect in myself and in my day when I speak them, when I say them out loud, right? You say that life is not, and what we do, our business is not brain surgery. But how we do what we do, it actually is brain surgery. You can actually build your mindset up by telling yourself what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. Here's your part-time schedule right here. I'll be glad to share this with you anytime. I wish there was a great script for FSBOs. There is. I'd love to share that with you. I suggest you go to talktodave.work and set up a time or message me here. Same with the part-time person that talked to me. I don't have your names. I will when I go back to Facebook and look at it. But because you haven't, there's something with StreamYard that's kind of screwy that doesn't work. There's a great script for FSBOs. I'd be glad to give you a full document of scripts. I have taken Mike Ferry, Tom Ferry, Greg McDaniel, Curator, Red X, and many others, and consolidated and compiled them into a script book, which is more than 100 pages. I would be glad to share that with you. Just send me a quick message and I will get you those scripts. However, I will also tell you the best FSBO script is the simple Mike Ferry script, and it's in the book too. So if you have any questions about that, any further questions, please let me know. This has been all about setting your time up. And I want to thank you for that comment. Of course, I'm going to put that out there. I got an ego too, you know. You're welcome. I look forward to working with everybody that's on here and everybody that's interested in talking. So go to talktodave.work. Okay. It's really simple. We just wanted you to go here. Talktodave.work. Can't wait to talk to you. We'll have a blast. We'll have some fun, simple 20, 30-minute conversation. And like I said, I'm not going to ask you for your credit card at the end. I promise you that. Hey, take care, everybody. Next week, we got more of this coming up. If you're in my coaching program, I'll see you tomorrow.